Well, we're up above Sofia on a beautiful clear afternoon. This morning we've been visiting some elderly folk in Botevgrad, and we've been to a Roma community to give out Christmas boxes there as well. But the last couple of days really have been about being out in the countryside, if you like, and visiting isolated people, maybe lonely people, people that are perhaps shut out from the rest of society. Yesterday we were up in a village up in the mountains in the south of Bulgaria, and like a lot of villages in Bulgaria, they're kind of emptying out. There's not many people left there, and those that are left there are very old, and they're left on their own. They're very lonely, they're very poor, not really any services, very difficult places to access, especially in the winter, especially when there's snow and ice on the ground. And the people there are really vulnerable, and it's difficult for them to get healthcare and all the other things. And they have to keep working, they have to keep growing their own food and looking after themselves. So life is really, really tough. This morning we were at an old folks' home in Botevgrad, and although they live in a nice place and they're well looked after, there's a sense of isolation again for many of them. Many of them have family who live many miles away in cities. For many of the folk there, actually their children and their grandchildren are living in completely different countries, and they just don't see their families anymore. So Christmas time is a time when actually they feel quite lonely, and they start thinking about family and how much they miss them. And although this country has changed in the 30 years since the collapse of communism, perhaps you might say that the one thing that it's really, really lost is the sense of families all living together and being in community together. And that is something that is really broken down. As we see in our own Western countries, that our families live many miles apart and parents live a long way from children and so on. That is something that has happened in an accelerated way here in Bulgaria. So it's a really difficult time still for this country and the other countries in the region. Going with Christmas boxes just is a great way of cheering people up and lifting a few spirits and saying hello and passing on greetings. The people absolutely love receiving the boxes. You can see that. You can see their reactions when they receive the boxes and the way they say thank you to us. We've also been out to a Roma community today, giving out boxes there, and these are kind of the folk that you kind of traditionally associate with being very, very poor in Eastern Europe. Scrivena Roma community is a community we know very well, and we go there and there's a bit of shouting, a bit of excitement, and we give out boxes there, and we sort of exchange a few words of greeting and just to say hello really and encourage the people there. But life is tough out in the villages, out away from the big cities. Life is really tough, and people don't really think about the folk who are left outside of the cities and the urban areas. So Christmas boxes is a very simple way of going and remembering those people and reaching out to them. And we like at FSCI to support grassroots organisations wherever we can, especially those like Light for Bulgaria that we're working with yesterday. Great organisation helping local people, going into 70 or 80 villages, going into institutions, getting involved with students locally. So loads of things that they're doing to try and bring people together in a society which is actually becoming a bit more fractured and with large groups of people being marginalised. Your Christmas boxes are playing a part in helping this work grow, so thank you very, very much. We've got a day of travelling tomorrow coming up, and then we've got a very interesting weekend ahead of us as we start our tour of Bulgaria.